Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I always believe marriages break slowly, like ropes fraying one thread at a time. But sometimes it takes only a single moment, a single piece of paper, to shatter the illusion you've lived in for years. That moment came for me on a quiet Tuesday evening, when Emily walked through our front door, wearing a smile I hadn't seen in months. She returned from her conference in Chicago looking lighter, brighter, almost glowing. Her hair was curled the way she only bothered to do on special occasions, and she wore a soft pink lipstick I didn't recognize. When she dropped her suitcase by the hallway bench, she gave me a quick, almost hurried hug instead of the long, warm one she used to give. Her scent was different too. Not bad, just unfamiliar, like someone else's cologne had brushed against her clothes. Conference went well? I asked, trying to sound casual, though a small knot formed in my chest. Yeah, it was great. Productive. Really productive. She said it fast, too fast. Then she headed straight to the shower. As the water ran upstairs, I stared at her suitcase. Something inside me whispered not to open it, not to let paranoia turn into accusations. But that whisper felt hollow. Over the last 6 months, Emily had grown distant. Long work trips, late-night texts from colleagues, cold shoulders in bed, excuses about stress, headaches, exhaustion. A quiet gulf had formed between us, and I had been naive enough to pretend it was temporary. Still, I didn't open the suitcase. I didn't want to be that husband, the one who snoops because trust has already died. Later that night, while she slept beside me facing the edge of the bed, I realized something else. She was smiling in her sleep. Emily never smiled in her sleep anymore. Not next to me. The next morning, she left early for work, sipping her coffee in a hurry and barely meeting my eyes. When the door shut, the silence in the house felt heavy, suffocating. It lingered with me all day as I worked from home, thinking about her hurried smile, the unfamiliar scent, the shift in her energy. By noon, the knot in my chest had turned into a storm. Not anger, not jealousy, just dread. I tried to distract myself by cleaning the kitchen, organizing the mail, fixing the loose cabinet hinge Emily had asked me about months ago. That's when I found the unopened envelope buried beneath a stack of bills. It had my name on it, the return address from the clinic where we had gone for routine tests before her trip, standard health screenings provided by her job. A cold shiver crawled down my spine. We had done those tests together. I remember her insisting we get them done before she traveled. I hadn't thought much of it at the time, but now, holding that envelope, something in me knew this wasn't ordinary. I opened it. The world blurred for a second before the words clicked into focus. You have tested negative for all conditions. However, your partner has tested positive for chlamydia. Immediate partner testing is recommended. I read it again, then again. My breathing turned shallow. My hand shook. My heart thumped loud enough to drown out everything else. But the worst part wasn't the shock. It was the clarity. A brutal, icy clarity that settled into every corner of my body. Emily had come back from her conference, smiling. And now this. I didn't explode. I didn't throw the paper. I didn't scream or curse her name. Instead, I sat down at the dining table and stared at the test results, feeling something inside me quietly crumble. Suddenly, her distant hugs, the late nights, the locked phone, the sudden enthusiasm about traveling for work, the unfamiliar perfume, it all aligned like puzzle pieces snapping into place. I wanted desperately to be wrong, to believe there was another explanation, but the truth sat in front of me in black ink. I folded the paper, placed it back in the envelope, and waited. Emily walked in around 6 p.m., cheerful again, humming softly. She kissed my cheek, a light brush of lips that didn't feel like hers. Then she went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, and poured herself a glass of wine, as if nothing in our world had shifted. "Your results came today," I said quietly. She froze. The glass clinked against the counter. Her shoulders stiffened, but she didn't turn around. "Oh," she whispered. Her voice cracked, just slightly, but enough for me to hear everything she was trying to hide. In that moment, I knew the truth. And I knew she knew I knew, but neither of us spoke. Not yet. Emily didn't turn around at first. She kept her hand on the counter, fingers trembling around the stem of the wine glass. I watched her shoulders rise and fall in slow, uneven breaths, the way someone breathes when they're silently begging for time. Time to think, time to invent, time to lie. Finally, she faced me. Her expression wasn't guilt at first. It was calculation, a frantic, scrambling kind of thinking behind her eyes, like she was flipping through excuses too quickly to pick one that made sense. What did it say?" she asked, her voice thin and fragile. "You already know what it said." I replied. Her lips parted, then closed again. She looked down, tapping her fingers against the counter. For a moment, I thought she might come clean. But then she looked up with a wavering smile, an awful, desperate thing that didn't reach her eyes. "Maybe it was a false positive," she said softly. "Maybe," I said, "but yours was positive, and mine was negative." She blinked, confusion mixed with fear. "Maybe it was dormant. Maybe you." "I've never cheated," I said calmly. "Ever." The silence that followed didn't last long, but it felt like a lifetime. She swallowed hard and turned away again. Every second she didn't speak tightened something inside me. Not anger, but a cold, hollow grief. Emily finally whispered, "It was just a mistake." "A mistake?" I repeated. She rubbed her forehead, pacing a few steps before stopping again. "It wasn't serious. It was one time. I didn't want it to be anything. I was lonely, okay? We weren't connecting, and I felt invisible, and... So you slept with someone at your conference," I said. Her breath caught. That was the moment she realized I wasn't guessing. I knew. She sank into a chair, hands covering her face. "I didn't plan it. I swear, I didn't plan anything. It just happened. I thought it wouldn't matter. I thought it would stay there, away, separate." My throat tightened. I had always believed betrayal was loud. Slammed doors, arguments, dramatic endings. But it isn't. It's quiet. A soft confession from a woman who once vowed to love you forever. "Who was he?" I asked. "It doesn't matter," she whispered. It mattered. Not the name, but the truth behind it. I sat across from her, watching the woman I had spent 10 years building a life with crumble under the weight of a choice she made in a hotel room hundreds of miles away. She wasn't sobbing. She wasn't begging. She was just defeated, like she already knew what came next. I took a deep breath. "Why were you smiling when you came home, Emily?" She hesitated. "I wasn't." "You were glowing," I said. "You walked in lighter, happier, more alive than you've been with me in months." A tear rolled down her cheek. "Because I knew it was over," she whispered. "Not us. Just whatever we had been pretending was left." I felt free for a moment. Free from the fights we don't have, the conversations we don't say, the affection that just died between us. She covered her mouth, voice shaking. "But I didn't want to lose you. I figured I could bury it, move forward, and then the test results." "You would have never told me," I said. She didn't answer, and that silence was enough. I leaned back, staring at the table where we had shared dinners, birthdays, anniversaries, the place where we made plans for a future she had quietly walked out of before I ever knew it. Emily reached my hand, but I pulled back. She nodded slowly, accepting it. "What do you want to do?" she asked, barely audible. "First," I said, "you're going to call your doctor and schedule treatment. And then we're going to talk about everything else." Her eyes widened. "Are you saying there's a chance that we can fix this?" "I'm saying we're not deciding anything tonight." Her face broke completely then, relief mixed with devastation. She wiped her tears quickly, as if afraid to lose whatever tiny thread she thought she still had left with me. We sat in silence for several minutes. I looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I had loved for a decade, the woman who knew my hopes, my fears, my plans. The woman who had also, in one impulsive moment, carved a fault line through everything we built. "Emily," I said quietly, "I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if trust can come back. I don't know anything right now. She nodded, eyes red. I'll do whatever it takes. I know, I said, but that doesn't guarantee anything. She reached for the envelope, held it gently, and whispered, I'm so sorry, Michael. For the first time since she came home, I saw genuine remorse. Not manipulation, not fear, real regret. But remorse doesn't erase truth, and truth doesn't heal instantly. That night, we slept in separate rooms, and in the quiet darkness, I realized something I never expected. I wasn't angry. I was simply done being blind.